Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, for at least a little bit of a time period, we may be have a reprieve from the burn fire warnings that we've had. We've been so dry here lately, and it's been so windy. We've had some pretty severe potential fire weather, fire warnings, red flag warnings, and myself and several others around here have been pretty busy putting out lots of brush fires and things like that. But we had a good bit of rain last night, came in just before midnight, and boy, it poured and poured, and we had some pretty impressive lightning and some hail. Nothing damaging. Didn't lose power or anything like that, but it really a lot of lightning. But good downpour. Gave the ground a good drenching, wet things down, so it's just not too bad. Now everyone can get out there and start burning off all the trash and stuff that you've been trying to burn around here. I know you city folks are like, what? You guys burn garbage? Yep, that's how we handle things out here. A lot of things going on in the news. Something that maybe some of you had seen, that there was, the FBI said that there had been an assassination attempt to the Trump, or at least threats, maybe that's the right word, threats to the Trump family. So, there's been a lot of suspicion and speculation around that if Trump really is the left's enemy and he really does start to get close to potentially retaking the presidency, would they try to go that far? I think most of us would agree that there's not, that everything's on the table. Nothing's off the table. So there's that. Mexico City, which is one of the largest cities in the world, about 22 million people live there. They've run out of water. And I mention this because this is kind of one of those SHTF things that we all should pay attention to, because it could happen to any one of us for various reasons. For them, it may be a different reason, but they're running out of water, and people there are going days and days, weeks without enough water. Maybe enough to keep them alive, but not enough to bathe and hygiene. So you're going to start seeing diseases skyrocket and that sort of thing. We're living in a modern world, and I know you say, "Oh, that's Mexico." It's Mexico City. It's a very modern city for the most part. And they've 22 million people. They don't have water. And this is something that we should all be having our contingency plans of what happens when the water source around you dries up, whether it's because of a terrorist attack or a drought, some other kind of natural causes, different things. In fact, just to give you a teeny little bit example and try not to go too off course, in our area, this past year or so, there was a well, like a big well for a water tower, not a private well. It had kind of started, didn't really go dry, but it became contaminated. They had to re-drill it, move the water tower and everything. And come to find out, and this is crazy, there had been an earthquake in Alaska. We're in Missouri. There had been an earthquake in Alaska, and it said that they believed that it caused tremors all the way down here, very, very low, deep tremors, and it caused that well to cave in. And so they had to redig the well. So there's lots of reasons why you may lose a water source. And so when you see something this much out in the news and how people are struggling, it should be a reminder to you to make sure you have solid water source. Now let's move on, because some of you just get so irritated when I just stay on one topic, or I have a more than a 10-second intro to my videos. I know, but don't worry, folks. It's all the chemicals that you've been drinking and eating in your food, the stuff that they're spraying, all those vaccines that you've been getting, all the garbage that you've been watching on the TV and Instagram and TikTok that shortens your attention span, that you can't set more than 10, 15, 20 seconds and watch something. It has to be constant, changing, exciting. It's not your fault. It's all something that's been done to you. It's okay. It's okay. Other things in news. See, now I'm carrying on, and I've forgotten what I was even talking about. Germany looks like, and this isn't confirmed, but news sources are reporting that it looks like Germany is starting the process of conscription, meaning some sort of forced draft in the military. It just looks that way. A lot of stuff's been coming out about Germany. Just a few days ago, there was a military leak. There's something going on. Let me just say that. This kind of stuff coming out of one area is not just a coincidence. There's too much. Something's going on here. But a few days ago, there was a military leak, intelligence leak, out of Germany, stating that there were plans for Germany to attack the Crimean Bridge. And a couple of days after that, Germany confirmed that that is true and that they were investigating for, the people that leaked that. And then now there's strong indication that Germany is going to start conscripting soldiers. And then another thing today, Germany, another military intelligence leak, that they confirmed absolutely that the United Kingdom does have troops on the ground in Ukraine. Now, this has been speculated for quite a while, almost since the beginning of this conflict. But there's, everything. It's been like, well, these are rear echelon people. These are just a few advisors. They're not engaged in any kind of combat. Any of the things that they're doing isn't combat. Germany says no, that there are actual United Kingdom British troops on the ground in Ukraine. Another leak. So this is strange, these leaks that are coming out, all from Germany. Something's up. I don't know what it is, but something's up. Hillary has once again weighed in on Joe Biden's age. We're probably there's something's going on with this too. She had made a comment a couple of weeks ago when it all came out, that report, because of that court case. Remember a couple of weeks ago that Joe Biden was too old to be prosecuted for any crimes that he did. He's too senile, basically. Anyways, she had come out and said, yeah, he is getting old. Almost like she's trying to discredit him. You know how Hillary is, stab you in the back. Well, now she's saying that we just need to get over it, okay? So what? Joe is old. He's old. Everybody knows that. Get over it and just move on to something else. Probably move on to her being the next president is what she's hoping. It's never going to happen, but that's what she's hoping. But the big thing in the news today that I wanted to talk about is the border again. Actually, it's not the border. It's the people that want to come across the border. The Biden administration has admitted that they have flown 320,000 people from Mexico into the United States and spread them all around. These are not the numbers and the people that have been talked about that have actually crossed the border. So, that 300,000 a month, that approximately 7.5 million since Biden has taken office. Those are official numbers, not the real numbers. Okay? Don't get too upset. That this 320,000 is not included in that. And we don't know exactly, the time length of how long they've been flying these people in and if this is an accurate number. So let's just go with it for now. For the sake of the argument, let's just say it's 320,000. They admit that the reason why they're doing this is to cut down on the bottleneck at the border, that there's just too many people coming across the border. It's too much for Border Patrol. They cannot process everyone. And so instead, on the Mexican side, they are flying people into the United States. Now, this is not new. Surprising, shocking news. We already knew this, right? There's already been talk and speculation about this for the last 2 or 3 years. This is just confirmation. That's a difference, okay? But it's a big deal. And I think it's something that most people had not really thought about and forgotten, because we focus so much on the border because it's easy to see. There's camera people all over the place. You can just get online anytime you want pretty much and see what's going on at the border. Flights coming across is different, and those aren't being processed at the border, and those people don't have to go through Texas and all these other places. They just get dropped off in Chicago or New York or LA. There was an article yesterday or today talking about how some of these major cities are on the verge of bankruptcy. I don't know how true that is, but that's what they're reporting, that they're on the verge of bankruptcy because of all the influx of illegals. New York City says that they've had something like 200,000, 250,000 dumped into their city in the last year. And it's too much. It's overwhelming their system. And they're flying them in. Now, this I'm telling you, if you if you think otherwise, I'm not saying you have to believe like me and think like me, but on this one issue, you're probably on the wrong channel. If you can't see that this is purposeful destruction, it's one thing for these people to walk into the country, climb over a fence, crawl, swim across a river or whatever, and then claim asylum, political asylum or whatever it is, and then, the Border Patrol and the government twist things like, well, we have to grant them, protection. It's something very, very different to have commercial flights lined up on the Mexican side of the border and loading these people up and flying them to their destination. This is purposeful and planned destruction. They don't have to do that. They can tell them to pack their bags and turn around and head back south. But they're flying them into this country. I'm sure they're letting them have all the peanuts and crackers and little bottles of whiskey they want on those flights too. You and I are paying for it, so might as well. We know this stuff's happening, but when it becomes confirmed in the news and stuff, it just hits a little harder. We're watching people sitting in very powerful positions. And I'm not talking just like Joe Biden. I'm talking about the people that are behind him. And they are purposefully destroying this country. And while we know that this has been going on for many, many, many years, meaning that there's people behind closed doors trying to destroy us, we've known that, okay? It's gotten to the point now that they've kind of taken the lead. Up until a few years ago, one could make the argument that, yeah, the good guys were still mostly in charge. The good guys were still winning the fight. We were in control of the battle. There were the silent majority, all that kind of stuff. Those things aren't necessarily true anymore. I think it's quite clear that the far left, the satanic Marxist left, they're kind of in the driver's seat now, and they're driving this country into the ground. And it's sad. It's heartbreaking. I've said it for years, and this isn't I'm not bragging. It's not an ego I'm saying this from. You'd be hard pressed to find someone more patriotic than me. So it's painful, it's hurtful to see this being done. But we've known that this was happening. It's just becoming more obvious. It's becoming less easy to deny or to ignore it, okay? And we have to be serious. I know that there are some that are still hopeful that things may turn around in November, and if that happens, then great. But I just want to warn you, I'm not saying don't have hope in that. I'm saying don't put all your eggs in that basket. Because even if, and it'd be a big if, that Donald Trump wins the presidency, there's still no guarantee that alone will turn things around. There's no guarantee that he's 100% on our side. There's all kinds of things. So don't put all your eggs in that basket by just hold on, everything will be okay. It's just trust the plan. Don't just throw all your eggs in that basket, folks. We're in the downward spiral at this point, and that's not to scare you. It's not spreading doom and gloom. It's just reality. It's just reality, folks. We have to grab a hold of that, quickly mourn it. Okay, if you haven't mourned the death of a nation, then you need to hurry up and do that and get it out of your system. Get all the snot and the tears out of your system, whether it's figuratively or literally, and get focused back in the game and start moving forward, because we cannot go down with this ship. And this big Titanic that could never be sunk is sinking. And you and I can't be just sitting on the side of the railing or standing on the boardwalk just waiting for it to go under. We have to have a plan so that we're not going down and sucked underwater because of this gigantic ship. My argument has been for years is you need to abandon ship now. Swim as far away as you can from that ship. Is it going to suck? Is it going to be tough? Is it going to be painful out there in that ocean swimming and cold and wet? And yeah, it is. But at least you have a chance if you can get far enough away from that ship. Because once it starts going down, it's going to suck everything around it down with it. And that's really what we have to do. There are very powerful, wealthy, influential people that you and I don't even know their names, that are running this show. And they're doing it, I fully believe, because of a satanic power and satanic backing, and that it's all being directing this sinking ship into the beast system, whether it's in recent, times coming up, or in our lifetime, or in the next life, next generation. It doesn't matter. It's being directed for a purpose. We have to be serious about this. We have to be getting ready. This is not a time to slack off. This is a time to stay focused and to figure out everything that you need to do, and go through and check out all the kinks in the armor and get those ironed out, and make sure that your plan is solid and your supplies are solid and everything, because we're watching it to be destroyed right before our eyes. There's no other way to put it, really. It's time to get your houses in order, folks, and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.